dear students, I hope you people are doing well. I am Eamon, your social science faculty of Stair School of Excellence. Welcomes you to our YouTube channel. So, in the last video lectures, we have already discussed about the Indian Constitution, the preamble, how it was made, what all are the basis on which the Constitution was made. Now, in this video lecture, we would be discussing upon our third chapter of civics, that is fundamental rights and fundamental duties. My dear students, I have actually divided this particular chapter into two parts. In this first video, we will be discussing upon the fundamental rights and what is the meaning of fundamental rights, why it was required, what all are the features, and how these fundamental rights are classified. Clear? So let's move on. Understanding fundamental rights in India. First of all, fundamental rights safeguards individual freedom and dignity. What are fundamental rights? Fundamental rights are the basic rights which are given to each and every citizen of India, right? And it safeguards individual freedom and dignity of the citizens. It forms the core of Indian democracy. It is actually very essential. It is actually a basis for Indian democracy. Let us explore their meaning, need, feature, types in detail. So, in this particular video lecture, we would be discussing upon the meaning of fundamental rights, their needs, features, their types, and their detailed explanation. Clear? What are fundamental rights? The first and foremost question which arises in our mind is that what are actually fundamental rights? So, fundamental rights are actually the basic rights which are given to each and every Indian citizen. These are the basic human rights guaranteed to all the citizens of our country by the Constitution. Clear? And these rights actually safeguard certain things, actually provide certain privileges to every citizen. What are those things? First, it is freedom. Freedom means we are free to move wherever we want. We are free to express our views. We are free to opt whichever occupation we want. Secondly, it promotes equality. Equality means every person, every individual who is an Indian is equal. Nobody is above and nobody is below. Third, it protects us in all forms of justice. Like whatever, some person is facing certain problem, facing some issues with the government, or the government is actually hampering the work of some individual, so they are free to move to court and get justice for them. Clear? Next, why they are called fundamental. What is actually the meaning of the word fundamental is? Fundamental means essential. Fundamental means important, right? So all the rights are actually important. All the rights are actually essential for our survival. Therefore, the word fundamental is given to them. Clear? So, fundamental means essential and rights. Fundamental rights means essential rights which are given to every citizen of India. Why it is given to every citizen of India? Because it promotes overall development of the individuals and for living a free and dignified life. Like if we want to live a free and dignified life, what is actually the requirement? What is actually the basis of that? Fundamental rights. Clear? Next, fundamental rights also got a backing from the Constitution. How it got a backing? Like in the last class we have already discussed, we have one last right, that is right to constitutional remedy. According to right to constitutional remedy, if any of our right is getting violated or any of the right is getting taken up by the government, then in that case we can move to judiciary, we can move to court for that purpose, right? So, what is the work that court is performing right now? Court is actually safeguarding our right. Court is actually backing up our right so that nobody could take those away from us. Clear? So, fundamental rights have legal backing and are enforceable in courts. What does that mean? That if anyone is trying to take away your freedom, is actually discriminating between you and other people, then you can move to court and sue that person. Clear, my dear? Next, talking about the need. What is actually the need of all these fundamental rights? First of all, the fundamental rights protects us from the state. Here the word state refers to, my dear, here the word state refers to the government. Here the word is not referring to a place. Here the word state refers to the government. What is it referring to? Government. Clear? Now, how it would be safeguarding us, how it would be preventing us from the government? What is the we are not facing any problem with the government. So why there was a need to save us from the government? See, we have elected some people on our behalf, right? So there might be a probability that after becoming the leader, after getting the power, they won't be making any policies for the benefit of the people, right? So our fundamental rights are actually protecting us from those people also, from the government also, right? Government cannot take away our freedom. Government cannot take away our liberty. Government cannot discriminate between different people of the same country. Clear? So therefore, fundamental rights are also protecting us from our own government. Second, it promotes international peace. How it is promoting international peace? As we have already discussed, there are certain directive principles which are given to, which are available for the government, according to which the government has to function to promote social and economic equality between the, uh, uh, sorry, uh, promote economic equality between the people. Clear? So, if government is actually working for the benefit of the society, what the society will become? The society will become equal for all, and automatically, like if we are seeing on the global level, the all the people would be equal. All the people would be equal to one another, right? Third, it promotes individual freedom. How it is promoting individual freedom? Because each and every person who is residing in India is free to move wherever we feel like, is free to express our views, is free to reside wherever he or she feel like, is free to opt whichever occupation they want. So these all freedoms, how it is provided? It is provided because of the fundamental rights. Clear? Next, it acts as a unifying bond. Unifying bond means our fundamental rights actually binds us together, right? Because of our fundamental rights, because all the rights are given to each and every citizen, no sort of discrimination is done between the people, right? So it actually gives us an idea. It actually gives us a feeling that everyone is equal. No person is above, no person is below, right? So therefore, it gives us a feeling of nationalism that our country is actually treating us as same. No discrimination is done between the citizens. Last, it promotes equality. Equality on what basis? It promotes equality on almost every aspect. For an example, it eliminates discrimination. Eliminates means removal. It removes discrimination on any basis, whether it is on the basis of caste, religion, gender, or birth. Clear? So let us revise it once again. First one, it protects us from the state. Here the word state means government. That is, fundamental rights are actually protecting us from our own government. Second, it promotes international peace. What does it promote? It promotes international peace among different countries. Third, it promotes equality amongst the citizens. Fourth, it also it also gives individual freedom to its citizens. Lastly, it acts as a unifying bond. Because of fundamental rights, all the citizens are bound together. Clear? Moving further, talking about the features of fundamental rights. because there were certain important features which are given for our fundamental rights. Some 8 points I've already mentioned. You can also add some other more points if you feel like while writing up the answers, because it actually depends like how much sorry, what is the question that is asking you, and according to which you have to answer. So first one, guaranteed by the constitution, fundamental rights are actually guaranteed, actually given in part third of our Indian constitution. Clear? Secondly, it is justiciable, that means we can move to courts if there if our fundamental rights, anyone is trying to snatch away our fundamental rights. Universal, it is available to all the citizens equally, that is no sort of discrimination is done sorry, no sort of discrimination is done between different citizens, like one person would be getting right to equality, second person would be getting right to freedom. It is not like that. All the fundamental rights are given equally to every citizen. Next, it promotes equality and freedom and ensures dignity and liberty. The basic fundamental rights are right to freedom and right to equality, right? So these fundamental rights also ensures the freedom, that is the liberty and dignity of its citizens. Next, limit the state powers. I've already told you the word state here refers to as government. Here the word state is referring to as government. Clear? So it also limits the powers of the state, like the government cannot hamper our freedom, cannot restrict our freedom. There are certain restrictions according to which the government also has to function. It is not absolute. Not absolute means like our fundamental right is right to freedom is given to us, but in certain cases these can be taken by the government. What all those cases are? For an example, if there is a war-like situation, in that case your right to freedom can be taken away, your right to freedom can be restricted by the government. Why? It is done for our own benefit. Clear? Next, it can be suspended, like if there is any emergency sort of situation, so those rights, some rights can be suspended. Protection against discrimination based on religion, caste, gender. Any sort of discrimination is actually prohibited because our fundamental rights are actually securing us from those discriminations. Clear? Next. Classification. Are all the fundamental rights are actually classified into 6 types. The first right which we have is right to equality. The first fundamental right is right to equality. That is, every person, every individual, every Indian citizen is equal in the eyes of law. Before the law, everyone is equal and no sort of discrimination will be done between them. Clear? Second, right to freedom. Right to freedom means we are free to express our views, we are free to move from one place to another, we are free to assemble wherever we feel like, and we are free to choose whichever profession we want. Next is right against exploitation. Right against exploitation means any form of illegal activities which are being done uh, uh, with the people. So those activities will be considered as illegal because of our fundamental right, that is right against exploitation. Next, right to freedom of religion. We are free to follow whichever religion we feel like, and we can also change our religion if we want. Next, cultural and educational right. Like if I want to spread the religious ideologies, religious feelings of my religion, so I am free to do that because of a fundamental right, that is cultural and educational right. Last right is right against constitutional remedies. If any of the right is getting hampered, if the government or the citizens are actually trying to snatch away our right, So according to right to constitutional remedy, I can move to court and sue that person. Clear? Now the question arises, name those courts in which you will be filing a complaint in the case your fundamental rights are getting violated. Clear? That is your homework. We have already discussed this thing in the last video. If you have seen that, if you have actually gone through that video, so you would be able to answer. Next, beta, now we would be discussing upon all the rights in detail. So our first right is right to equality. Right to equality actually ensures that there should be equality before law. That is, all the people, all the Indian citizens should be considered as equal, as same before the eyes of law. Secondly, no sort of discrimination should be done between all those individuals. Abolition of untouchability is also getting removed by the right to equality. Last, abolition of any titles. For an example, prior it was people use some titles, for an example Nawab, for an example Raja, right? So all those titles were actually abolished. Why they were abolished? Because of the introduction of right to equality. Clear? Right to freedom. Right to freedom also have many other points under it. For an example, right to freedom of speech and expression. Whatever we are feeling, whatever we are thinking, we are free to express those. We are free to convert that into words, and we can share it up with others. So those things are actually ensured under right to freedom. Next, right to assemble. We can assemble at any place peacefully and discuss upon our thoughts or views. Next, we are free to form associations, we are free to form groups, we are free to form unions. Clear? You must have seen many trade unions. For an example, railway union is there. For an example, labor union is there. Clear? We are free to move at whichever place we want, but within the territory of India. Like if we are moving in the territory of India, we won't be requiring any sort of permit. Clear? But if you would be moving outside India, then the visas and passports would be required. Clear? Next, residence and profession. We can reside at any place in India, as well as it's up to us whichever occupation we want to choose, whichever occupation we want to opt. Clear? So all these points are actually included in our right to freedom. Let us revise it once again. Right to freedom includes speech and expression. It includes we can assemble at whichever place we want. We can form associations or trade unions. We can move from one place to another within the territory of India, and we can choose or reside wherever or at whichever place we feel like, or we can choose whichever profession will be suitable for us. Clear? Beta, the rest of the fundamental rights which are given to us is, first one, right against exploitation. Right against exploitation means if there is any ill practices which is done by a human to the other person, then it would be considered under right against exploitation. Clear? This right protects individuals from forced labor. Forced labor means if any person is actually getting forced to do some sort of work, that person would be considered as forced labor, and he is not getting proper remuneration, proper amount in return of it. Next, human trafficking. Human trafficking means illegal buying and selling of human beings. Actually, buying and selling of human beings is illegal. Clear? So, if any person is getting involved in buying and selling of human beings, would be considered as human trafficking. That person is doing human trafficking. Clear? It is also illegal. Next, child labor. Any child who is below the age of 14, and if he or she is forced to do some sort of work, in spite of sending that child to school, that would be also considered as child labor. Clear? Whether he or she is getting finances in return, but still that part is illegal. So, why it is considered as illegal? Because our fundamental right, that is right against exploitation, is actually safeguarding, actually protecting us from any sort of human exploitation which would be done by one human to the other. Clear? It, it ensures that no one is exploited or treated unfairly for work under harmful or illegal conditions. That our right, that is right against exploitation, actually protects us, that it actually ensures, it actually makes sure that no person should be forced to do any sort of work in harmful conditions or either in illegal conditions. Clear? Next, freedom of religion, it allows that we can follow whichever religion we feel like. We are free to promote any religion of our choice. It also gives us a right that in future, if we want, then we can also change our religion. It actually depends on our beliefs and our thoughts. It also gives us a right to change the religion and ensures that no discrimination would be done on any basis in that religion too. Cultural and educational rights. These rights protects the language, culture, and tradition of all the communities, including the minority communities. And minority communities are given the right to establish and manage their own educational institutions. You must have seen gurdwaras, you must have seen madrasas, you must have seen gurukuls, right? So, in all these three institutions, what missionaries, in all these institutions, what all things are being taught? Religious values are given to the students, right? So, how these institutions are working, how they are spreading their knowledge of their own religion because of the fundamental right, that is cultural and educational right. Lastly, we have right to constitutional remedy. According to right to constitutional remedy, we can move to court if anyone is trying to violate our fundamental rights. These rights allow citizens to approach to court if any of the fundamental rights are getting violated, and ensuring the protection and enforcement of these rights through legal action. That is, in return, what court would be doing? In return, the court would be actually protecting the person from any sort of violations. They would be ensuring that the fundamental rights are actually given to every citizen of India. Clear? By this, we are coming to the end of the slide. Let us discuss the summary. The fundamental rights actually protect our civil liberties. That is, it gives us freedom. Whatever we feel like, wherever we feel like, whatever occupation we feel like, whatever things we feel like, we can express it in a free manner. Second, it strengthens democracy. How it strengthens democracy? Because it empowers, it gives power to the citizen, whereas it is limiting the power of the government, right? So it is actually strengthening up, it is actually making the democracy more strong. Next, it promotes social harmony. How it would be promoting social harmony? By encouraging respect and tolerance across communities. Because every person is considered as equal, right? Therefore, it is promoting. It will be promoting social harmony among the citizens. Next, accessible legal protection. If anyone, any people, any government official is trying to hamper our freedom, is trying to snatch away our fundamental rights, we can move to court and take action against that person. Lastly, understanding these rights are essential for active citizenship and safeguarding the justice. So, just giving us these fundamental rights is not sufficient. Like everyone, every citizen of India should know what all are the fundamental rights which are given to them and how they have to function according to it. Like if anyone is trying to snatch away their rights, what all things that can be done by them. Clear, my dear? I hope you would have got the concept. If you are having any doubt, kindly give us a comment in the comment section, or either you can note it down and we can discuss upon it in the offline class. Do give it a like if you like the video, and share it up. And till then, bye bye. Have a nice day.